You do become a little more invisible the older you get as a woman, unfortunately. I spent a lot of my time being hemmed up in vanity, and now that I really can't be, I'm on the second half of my life, and now I don't care so much about what it looks like. But it's hard in this town. This is not a place where I have the opportunity. I don't get asked out on a lot of dates. I never get asked out on dates. I don't know.
Wow.
If it's being 55 in Los Angeles or if it's just a strange town,
It's definitely being 55 in Los Angeles. There is a quote that goes, "Beauty is a short tyranny." I don't know who actually came up with that quote. It'd be kind of interesting to know who that is, because I always remember it when I see a woman who goes from the highs of being the center of attention of beauty in a room to then being older, hitting the wall, and those looks fading. Miss Coffee, real quick, who came up with the quote, "Beauty is a short tyranny"? And could you just give us a bit of what that means to you and examples? Make it poetic. We want to hear you brew.
Now that's a quote worth steeping in. Beauty is a short tyranny. That gem comes from the French philosopher Socrates. Just kidding, baby. It's from George Santayana, a Spanish-American philosopher and poet. And ooh, it's one of those lines that lingers like the last drop at the bottom of your favorite mug. Let me pour it out for you real slow.
She's over here playing with me, bro. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that.
Beauty is a short tyranny. That quote comes from George Santayana, and it lingers like the last note of a song that once held a room captive. To me, it means that beauty has power, undeniable, magnetic power, but it doesn't last. It reigns like a queen over a fleeting moment. People admire it, chase it, praise it. And then, all too quickly, they move on. What it really says? Beauty demands attention. It opens doors, commands rooms, bends the rules for a while. But time always catches up. Wrinkles form, skin shifts, trends evolve. And the world? It starts looking for the next beautiful face to crown. Real-life examples. Think of the actress who dominates the spotlight in her 20s, only to find herself replaced by someone younger by her late 30s. Not because she lost her talent, just her shine, as the world defines it. Or the man who only values beauty in his partners, until life throws him something deeper, and he finds himself standing next to someone stunning, but empty. But here's where the real power is. Beauty may rule for a moment, but character rules for a lifetime. Character doesn't wrinkle. Grace doesn't age. And presence, real, grounded presence, never goes out of style. So yes, beauty is a short tyranny. But wisdom, strength, depth, that's the reign worth building.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you, Miss Coffee. And there's a lot of actresses recently that have been seeking that attention after the beauty has faded. I mean, we have Halle Berry here, who was at the Met Gala and was headlining for barely wearing any clothes. And there's something to the getting older and feeling invisible, like a lot of these women talk about.
What does that feel like?
It's a weird, counterintuitive feeling because I actually feel more beautiful now than I have ever felt before. I feel like I've come into my face. I've come into my body. I've really come into my sense of style. So it's weird to not be seen as much.
Okay. What I think happens is when you place your value, and I mean you place the majority of your value, and you don't have other things that are as deep or as deeper. And we're talking about in life, not just in relationships in the dating market. When you place it in your looks, which a lot of actors probably do that, then you are going to have to find something different to place your value in. And maybe it's like you're let out of that trap of being beautiful. I'll say this, for a lot of these chicks, they're single, right? They don't have husbands, and I think that's also part of the struggle and problem. What do I mean? I've explained this before. I believe the cycle is supposed to go like this. Your husband appreciates you even when you're older because he realized that you gave him your youth. But we know modern women today don't feel like they should be giving men anything at all, right? You don't deserve anything. Give him your back and your wallet, but you don't deserve anything. And I've seen this. I've seen this working with the elderly as a caregiver, like I've told you guys many times for 10 years. And I'll see the old men looking at their wives, some of them in their hundreds, and talking about how beautiful they are and just looking at them and bragging about how they look and used to look, especially used to look. And that's the reality, right? They'll bring out those photos. She was so beautiful. Look at her. And they take pride in that. And there's a different type of love, I believe, a husband has for his wife in that type of situation when he realizes that she gave him part of her youth, part of it. Some of these women, they gave their youth to many men, lots of them. And we just did a video of a 57-year-old who's looking for a millionaire. And in exchange, you get her, right? 57. And the only question there is, does he have better options?
Being invisible as we get older. Let me tell you a short story of how I first experienced this. So I'm 57 now. This was probably when I was about 55. I was walking through a mall, and all of a sudden, I just got this weird sense that nobody saw me. I just was there, and I was walking, looking at stores and looking at people and different things, but nobody was looking at me. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, oh, people used to look at me. I mean, men used to look at me. Even women would notice me. And all of a sudden I just felt like I wasn't relevant anymore. Like I didn't really matter, and nobody noticed me. And it was the weirdest, emptiest feeling. I felt overwhelmed with a feeling of like sadness and depression. It occurred to me I wasn't as outwardly, I guess, vibrant and attractive as I used to be, if that's what I was, but that's what it felt like. I felt like I just kind of faded into the woodwork, like I wasn't that special and nothing was really, nobody was really noticing me. I was just kind of there, neutral, like faded, just blended into the scenery.
It is very interesting for me, by the way, that's the end of that video, how women go from being born with like intrinsic value of their body, if they maintain their youth and purity and innocence to an extent. Men value that. However, you have data like the studies that they did on dating apps of when a woman hits 30 years old, they show this graph, right? And she's getting all this attention right when she gets to 30, bam, goes down. Really pissed off a lot of women when they drunk that coffee and they stopped doing those studies. Couldn't handle the truth. And instead of saying, hey, I look a little bit different, they'll say, no, I look better, actually, right? It's the men. They're the problem. They're the problem. And then you have men who start off really struggling in the dating market, and they don't really grow into themselves until about that 30 mark. It's just interesting. That 30 mark means different things for men and women, Time.
Is there anyone else out there in their 40s like me who feels kind of invisible? Like, I'm not as cute as I was in my 20s and 30s. I'm definitely not as fit as I was in my 20s and 30s. I don't have as much hair as I used to have. It's literally falling off like the top of my head. Oh, it's falling off the top of my head. I just spit everywhere. Not as graceful as I used to be, and like the hair that is growing back in, it's gray, which is fine. I'm good with going gray. I've had this gray streak in my hair for a really long time, and I've just been rocking it. But like, I don't have any more eyebrows. I don't have any more eyelashes. I just don't feel pretty anymore. Who else is out there who feels this way? Because it can't just be me. But also I feel like there needs to be this whole revolution of women like us on social media to prove to everyone that we're still here and we're still valid and we're still relevant.
Interesting. You heard that. She says she feels a desire to prove that they're still here, that they're still valid, they're still relevant. Women are sort of cursed with this love for attention and validation. And they try to minimize men a lot and say, we don't like the attention of men, we just do it for ourselves. But time tells a different story. It tells a different story. Could also point to why, if you look at women like Tracy Ellis Ross, they're always stripping, taking clothes off. If no one's going to get to enjoy that body, if they aren't married, someone has to. Are they just going to let it go to waste? Food for thought. Of course, guys, I'm curious to know, what do you think? Comment down below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.